Reading Wikipedia, History of the World. The history of the world, in common parlance, is the history of humanity or human history, as determined from archaeology, anthropology, genetics, linguistics, and other disciplines, and for periods since the invention of writing from recorded history and from secondary sources and studies. Humanity's written history was preceded by its prehistory, beginning with the Paleolithic era, the Old Stone Age, followed by the Neolithic era, the New Stone Age. The Neolithic saw the agricultural revolution begin between 8000 and 5000 BC in the Near East Fertile Crescent. During this period, humans began the systematic husbandry of plants and animals. As agriculture advanced, most humans transitioned from a nomadic to a settled lifestyle as farmers in permanent settlements. Relative security and increased productivity provided by farming allowed communities to expand into increasingly larger units, fostered by advances in transportation. Whether in prehistoric or historic times, people always needed to be near reliable sources of potable water. Settlements developed on riverbanks as early as 3000 BC in Mesopotamia, on the banks of the Egypt's Nile River, in the Indus River Valley, and along China's rivers. As farming developed, grain agriculture became more sophisticated and prompted a division of labor to store food between growing seasons. Labor divisions led to the rise of leisured upper class and the development of cities, which provided the foundation for civilization. The growing complexity of human societies necessitated systems of accounting and writing. With civilizations flourishing, ancient history, antiquity, including the classical age up to about 500 CE, saw the rise and fall of empires. The post-classical history, being the Middle Ages, 500 to 1500, witnessed the rise of Christianity, the Islamic Golden Age from 715 to 1258, and the early Italian Renaissance from around 1300. The mid-15th century introduction of movable typing printing in Europe revolutionized communication and facilitated ever wider dissemination of information, hastening the end of Middle Ages and ushering in scientific revolution. The early modern period, sometimes referred to as the European Age from about 1500 to 1800, included the Age of Enlightenment and the Age of Exploration. By the 18th century, the accumulation of knowledge and technology had reached a critical mass that brought about the Industrial Revolution and began the late modern period, which started around 1800 and has continued through the present. The scheme of historical periodization, which is dividing history into antiquity, post-classical, early modern, and late modern periods, was developed for and applies best to the history of the Old World, particularly Europe and the Mediterranean. Outside this region, including ancient China and ancient India, historical timelines unfolded differently. However, by the 18th century, due to the extensive world trade and colonization, the histories of most civilizations had become substantially intertwined, a process known as globalization. In the last quarter millennium, the rates of growth of population, knowledge, technology, communications, commerce, weapons, destructiveness, and environmental degradation have greatly accelerated, creating opportunities and perils that now confront the planet's human communities. Well, that's the beginning of that Wikipedia article on human history.